Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Ride 4. We are here in the Special Naked Trophy Group, and away we go on board the KTM 1290 Super Dueke R, right here in French Riviera. This is the shorter variant of the French Riviera track. I think there might be 3 variants, and this is the shortest version, as we try and go around the outside of Samantha Young, potentially going around the outside. Here is Mika Alatalo, very close to the wall there, but thankfully we don't follow him into that particular wall. God knows I've done that enough times in my lifetime in Ride 4. We won't be doing it here though, because the French Riviera circuit is quite difficult. It's a difficult little bit of a track, this one. Even the full version, we almost bumped our helmet on the wall there. Thank goodness we weren't using the brand new helmet as we go around the outside and touch the wall. Oh my goodness, that was a bit close there, a bit too close for comforts. As Mika Alatalo leads this Grand Prix for how long as we go up in the inside, around the outside, apologies, not inside, because he is now up in the inside for us. Good move from the Finn. We'll be trying to get into his slipstream here. We can't carry enough speed through here because he seems to be a little bit quicker, but also we can't carry too much speed because this change of direction here has caught me out in the past. It slips away from you ever so slightly. It's a teeny bit off camber, and that's enough just to lose the front on the motorcycle. It'll drop the rear just enough so when the rear re-grips, it grips too much and then you spin out. As we go up the inside, is that a potential lunge? Not quite. Of course, we still take the tighter line there because we don't want to be going anywhere near the wall. It's not a good combination to go near the wall on board the Super Dueke because it hasn't quite got the nimbility, if that's a word. The manoeuvrability, it hasn't got the nimbleness. Combined a few words together, we almost bumped the wall again there. At least the helmet, at least. So I can't really manoeuvre this bike as well as we want to. It does shift, I'll give you that. It does move. It has the pace to move on. But it's quite difficult in those sort of tighter sections to really make sure you're going slower. And some naked bikes suffer from this. And I'm not going to say all of them do, but especially the RVS. The RVS is quite opposite. The RVS has amazing manoeuvrability. But for the KTM Super Dueke, not so much. It does handle very well, but just be careful if you need to really chuck it around a bit. It's not quite as good as some of the other nakeds, as we get a lot of speed here, 160 miles an hour, going around the outside of turn 1. Do we have the momentum? Do we have the drive as he Mika Alatalo slams the door in our face. That was great defensive riding from the Finn. Loved how he positioned himself in front of us there, because there's no way we could get around him or even up on the inside if we tried. Great stuff from Mika Alatalo. As we hold it left now, let's be careful not to bump our helmet on the wall, as thankfully we don't touch the picket fence. Now into the slipstream, or a little bit out of the slipstream here. Alatalo's done a grand job to force us back, but look at the speed on board this Super Dueke. It can't half move, I tell you. Of course, it has been upgraded to the max, but still, it's doing everything it can to keep up with a fellow Super Dueke. And I've got to say, I'm liking this competition so far. Alatalo riding like a tank, being very defensive, not allowing us to get through. Can we go over the inside here? Oh, around the outside to the inside, and he clams the door shut in our face once more. Brilliant stuff from Alatalo. Really good stuff to see him giving it as good as he's got. AI doesn't always get a chance to use its full potential and full power, but I like to see him going for it today. Can we go up at the inside this time? Be careful, that little bit of a bump in the middle of the road there. It does throw you off ever so slightly, so do be careful. Just try and stick with Alatalo for the time being. I'm not trying to rush things. I do think I can get past him, especially going up to the very tight left-hander, the hairpin, towards the middle of the section of this track. Thankfully not touching the picket fence again, avoiding it quite nicely, avoiding the little barrier as well to the right. We are into the slipstream, only 0.2 of a second down compared to our previous lap time, but that's not really a matter right now, as we're going to be braking very late, very right. Look at the braking on the right hand corner of your screen there, ladies and gentlemen. You will see that was full rear brake and full front brake, doing everything we can to stop this two wheels going into that very tight hairpin of turn 9. Turn 10 navigated pretty badly, to be fair, unless we use as a bit of a smart tactic to get into the slipstream of Alatalo. Use the speed, going up to about 150 miles an hour, shifting to 6th gear in a moment's time. Can we get into 6th gear? We don't even get into 5th. We're staying into 5th. We're braking over the inside, not quite. Turn 1. Brilliant defensive riding here from Mika Alatalo. Oh, I still want to dive over the inside, very much so, but it's too risky as we both run it wide into the barriers of Palmiers. Thankfully we don't end up touching the barrier though and scratching the beautiful livery on this motorcycle. Hold it to the right for turn 5. 5:45 here in this beautiful French Riviera circuit. 26 degrees, and I think it's going to be even hotter on board the track in a minute's time, because two gentlemen are going absolutely head to toe here, giving everything they've got. Head to head is what I meant to say, but toes, why not included? Here we go. Going into the hairpin in a moment's time of turn 9, braking ever so gently, very so slightly. It's actually turn 8. Can't even get my turns right, but you know where I meant. Oh, a little bit of a slide on the rear there. The front tyre is very hot, very warm, very, very spongy-like as we flick it right. Going into Pont for turn 11. I think we've done the business now. Using everything we can. Watch out for the little bit of a drop in the track there. As you can see, I just pulled off the acceleration ever so slightly. Giving everything we've got. We're up by 0.3 of a second. Victory to DrAce. Goodness me. That was a sprint race for the ages, let me tell you. Race 1 has been completed, but now it's time to come back home across the channel, back here to England for Donington GP. We're going to pull to one side, of course, let the AI get ahead, because I'm pretty handy in Donington, I'll be honest, so I don't think we'll have to worry too much about trying to catch up to the rest of the pack. So I'm quite pleased to just start from the back of the grid and move our way forwards. So of course, I'm pretty certain we have the speed. We have the speed, the tenacity, and the motivation to get through them all. As we go around the outside of Alvin Finch, now we're chasing down to Leon He. Oh, I love this move coming up with the inside of Blanchett. Watch out for Lucas Sukup. Shout out to the Czech guy in my in the comment section down below, because I always butcher that name and I always think of you when I see it. So shout out to you, my friend, as we dive over the inside, around the outside of Lucas Sukup. Thankfully didn't get through us on the Suzuki. I think he's on the Katana. So going out of McLean's now, we've got the drive and we have the speed to go around the outside up into Coppice. Peter O'Donnelly, take my 8th place. I'll have your 7th. Now using the speed of the Super Dueke, getting into the rear of Michaela. Don't even need the slipstream. Rolando Melo de Souza. Can we go around the outside of him? Oh, I like it. Oh, I like it very much. Going around the outside on the rear of Sophie Lloyd right now. Sophie Lloyd, you are going to be beaten here going into Melbourne in just a moment's time. We do. Oh, she fights back a little bit. We both got a little bit wide there, trying to defend well against Sophie, but it didn't happen. As Sophie Lloyd regains 5th place. She just have to regain her composure, regain a bit of momentum and speed, and then she can fight us back again. It's Adriana Torres, Alain Cordonier is ahead of us, and Finlay Cooper leads this Grand Prix. It's about 2 seconds ahead of us right now, and I'm pretty certain we can probably decimate that lap time if required. So not a problem as we go into Redgate. Let's not crash into there like Kevin Schwantz did in 1992. But of course that was down to an oil spill on the track. Thankfully there's no oil in this one yet. It's Adriana Torres defending well, but I'm gonna... Oh, I thought about a lunge. Oh, I definitely thought about a lunge, but we got too close. Going into the old hairpin. As we now flick it left for turn 5. Be very careful if you go too close to the rumble strip on the inside there. There's a very little dip, and once you go onto that dip you can very easily lose the front or cause the rear to regrip, just like the same in French Riviera for turn 10. Now braking and holding it right for Coppice, turn 8. Get into the slipstream in a moment's time of the Spaniard, and then if we can get double slipstream for the Frenchman, we're going to absolutely thrash past these guys. Now it's 2.4 seconds actually, Finlay Cooper. Thought we'd be up there quicker. As we go up at the inside of Adriana Torres, flick it right so we get into the S's, right on the rear of Alain Cordonier. This very well could be the end of his 2nd place charge in a moment's time as we go into the Melbourne hairpin for the 2nd time of asking. A little bit wide there, just as mentioned earlier with the Super Dueke, not as nimble as I want it to be. I like the word we use, nimbility. I think that's definitely going to have to be a new DrAce word. I'll have to. I quite like that one actually. I don't even think it is a word. If it is, let me know in the comment section down below as we get onto the rear of Alain Cordonier. Actually, I found this motorcycle he's using is very fast. I do believe it's the MV Agusta. Yeah, Alain Cordonier is using the MV Agusta Brutale 1000 Serie Oro, and I gotta say, it's very quick. On the straights, it's extremely fast. It's much quicker than the Super Dueke. I think with the Super Dueke, it's got superior braking as we... Oh! I wanted to demonstrate it into the old hairpin, but it didn't quite happen. But we'll have to get him up into McLean's, potentially go around the outside of him there. Oh, we already do it! Oh, lovely. Beautifully done up into turn 6, giving Alain Cordonier no chance to argue, no chance to fight back. We give him the big don't argue. Exiting McLean's, a little bit wide up onto the rumble strip there, but it's quite alright. Flicking it right for Coppice now for turn 8. Up by 0.4 of a second, and our fastest lap, which was of course set on the previous lap, as we carved our knife through the butter, the metaphorical butter, which was the other riders. And Finlay Cooper is sitting pretty here with a 2.5 second lead. I don't know how long that's going to last, because I'm going to give it everything we've got on board this KTM Super Dueke R. The 1290, by the way. And we'll flick it to the right for Melbourne hairpin. Used a nice smooth acceleration out of that corner. A little bit of a wheelie there, but it's quite alright. We still managed to react to the little bit of a wheelie, push the front down, make sure that tuck-in button was applied, and then break it into Goddard's. 11:45 here, 21 degrees in Donington. It looks a bit cloudy, but I don't think there'll be any chance of rain. So, of course, Ride 4 does not allow rain participation or variability during a normal Grand Prix, only available in the endurance races. That needs to change for the future, but for the time being, it's quite alright. That's another rant for another day, as we now flick it to the right. Careful to go into turn 2 there, touching a little bit too much of the grass for my liking, but it's alright. Navigated the Craner curves with style and pizzazz. Old hairpin, you can say the same, as we now prepare ourselves to turn left for turn 5. Be careful of the inside. Oh, see that slide of the rear there? That's what I'm talking about. Using everything we've got on this KTM Super Dueke 1290R. You're messing the title of the bike up now. Let's just call it the KTM or the Super Dueke for the time being. 1 second has been taken away from Finley Cooper. 0.8 of a second, actually closer to 0.9 of a second quicker than the previous lap. Exiting Coppice with a lot of speed. The rear tyre is getting a little bit warm now. It's going a bit yellow. Of course, it is returning back to green. I'm not using the rear brake as much into that corner just because of the already high temperature on the rear tyre. So we navigated the S is quite alright. Still up by 8.5 of a second. Braking into the Melbourne hairpin. We're learning all the time that on this particular motorcycle, brake a little bit earlier. Don't want to be going into the gung-ho like we're on a 1000 RM. It's not quite the speed, not quite the manoeuvrability, the nimbility we said earlier. Holding it left for Goddard's. It's going to be one final shootout between these two gentlemen. A battle of Britain between the two British riders, Finley Cooper, DrAce. As DrAce has the fast lap of the Grand Prix, 1.1 second quicker than the previous lap time. Red gate to be navigated. Only a few more corners remaining for overtakes. There's not that many on Donington, but I do like to conjure some things up. What can we conjure up here today? As we now flick it left for the Craner curves. Up again in the lap times. Up again in the sector times I'm referring to. 0.8 of a second difference now between Finley Cooper. It says 0.6 on the screen. You're talking a good 10 second, or a good 10 bike lengths. But we get closer and closer. Turn 6, turn 7 to be navigated now. Getting right on the rear of Finley Cooper. Finley Cooper, he is going to have to defend like absolutely mad here. He's going to have to put up a stonewall defence to stop us. We could potentially go around the outside into Coppice. Not quite. We could use the slipstream, or we don't even need the slipstream actually. Or we might do. We can use it on that Brutale 1000. Look at the speed that Finley Cooper carried. Can we break around the outside him? It's going to be difficult to stop him. Oh, we're going to go around the outside. Beautifully done. Into the S's. DrAce takes the lead and already has a 0.5 of a second lead. Unbelievable scenes here in Donington GP. Holding it right now for the Melbourne hairpin. Finley Cooper cannot retaliate, but he got so ever so close to the rear of us there. Maybe that was going to be some sort of dirty manoeuvre to try and shove us off the track, but for the time being, victory goes into the same direction it always has been, and that's to DrAce. I'd have a wheelie over the line, but I don't want to risk it with Finley Cooper not that far behind. What a race! What a victory! Brilliant, brilliant stuff. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did at least. If you did, like, comment and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be alerted to every single DrAce upload. And upon that note guys, thanks for watching and ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.